Welcome everyone to another Wi-Fi battle with Israel-san. Israel in the Silver League. Here is battle against gym leader Diogo for the flying batch. I really screw up. I got off kind of well, but I might as well see for yourself. I removed the battle with hard because he didn't. I didn't ask him, and he never agreed with it. So, uh, it's fine though. So he opens with Staraptor, and I go for Sableye pretty much from the get-go because, yeah. He switches. I intended to get it burned or something, but he goes into Florges. And so I obviously go Mega Evolve and go for Will-O-Wisp. Obviously it hits. And so I know Florges is gonna attack. There is no reason for it not to for Diogo not to go for Moonblast. Plus, that Sableye is defensive, so it's never gonna take a Moonblast, especially. So I go into one of my special walls, which is Gastrodon. This thing takes it way too well. This in here, it didn't look so bad. Well, Gastrodon gets the leftover recovery and so on. Here I stay in, thinking like, well, maybe I can do something with Scald, right? But he goes for Toxic. And yeah, connects and I get poisoned. I just go for Scald, just looking to do damage to this thing. Florges is one of the most annoying Pokemon you can face these days. And this is a UU Pokemon. Yeah, Gastrodon is RU. That doesn't matter. What fun would this game be if we all picked the exact same Pokemon, right? Looking at VGC. Whatever. So he goes for Synthesis. Here I know that this thing is gonna be annoying as all hell. I actually predict him switching, so I go for Toxic. And I end up, well, this doesn't work in my favor. I have to switch because I can't allow Gastrodon to go down right now. Oh, here I go into Blissey. No, I go into Arcanine, thinking maybe I can do some damage with Flare Blitz or something. And he goes for a Calm Mind. So, here I'm kinda nervous because the next move is wide. It's gonna be big. And he switches out into Rotom as I go for Wall Charge, thinking maybe he'll go to Tornadus or something that I can actually damage. Yes, I'm going for Rotom, which has a Rocky Helmet, so... And is physically invested. Let's add that. Or at least I think it's physically invested. The damage wasn't exactly great. The fact that it has a Rocky Helmet also may be the big indicator of that. Here, he goes for Hydro Pump, does the obvious play. I'm going to Chansey. Here, he actually goes really smart and goes for Pain Split. That was really smart of him. Because it's pretty much loses some use in Chansey, and here I have to... Here I have to heal. Period. And he goes into Scizor. Not exactly the thing you want to face with a Chansey. So, obviously I get a Soft Boil up, and I have to leave. There is no ifs or buts. I have to get out. I go into Arcanine want to drop its attack power. Sort of predicting the knockoff and thinking the quote-unquote perhaps least worst scenario, and he mega evolves and goes for Sword Dance. So you can imagine how nerve-wracking this is on its own. Sets up a Sword Dance, and well, obviously I have to attack, but I also know he's not gonna stay in. There is no reason for him to stay in. So here he does the obvious and goes in a Rotom. I go for Flare Blitz, which does reasonable damage considering it's a Rotom. As you can see, it's the damage input is pretty much absurd. Here, I think about it for a bit. I ended up switching into Gastrodon. And it works out because he used Hydro Pump, which activates Storm Drain, which raises special attack by one stage should your Pokemon be hit with water. With a water type move, that is. So here he does, well, he leaves and goes into Florges, which is basically always gonna win against Gastrodon. I go for Scald pretty much just to hurt whatever comes in. And it does reasonable damage, but obviously I can't stay. Considering that I'm poisoned, I can't... Considering that Gastrodon is poisoned, I can't stay in. And yeah, there's that. So I got a Chansey to get the heal bell off. Also thinking, he's just gonna heal again, so might as well. And this was a chance for me also to get my HP, to get to get rid of Gastrodon's poison. And as per usual, and as I was expecting, he goes for Synthesis. Here I go for Heal Bell to get rid of Gastrodon's poison. I was thinking about it for a moment, and what was the best possible play I could make at this point. I couldn't really think of anything, but he switches out. And he goes into Scizor as I go into Arcanine. And the switch into Arcanine gets me, well, the Intimidate and pretty much the upper hand. As he goes back in a Rotom. And I Flare Blitz again. So I was being a whole mess in this battle. Well, with Arcanine, I was a bit reckless with it. And yeah, as you can see the damage that it's doing. So here I see the damage with Rotom. And I decided to just keep going with it and get rid of it. I mean, I can get rid of it. Might as well. Plus, I was thinking he was going to predict the switch on Pain Split. So, perhaps my best choice is to just let Arcanine go at this point. As I suspected, he goes for Pain Split, and I get rid of Rotom. But Arcanine is pretty much fodder right now. So, here I have to make a really dangerous call. Every Scizor and their mother have Bullet Punch, so I have to go for something. I go into Mega Sableye, knowing that he's gonna go for Bullet Punch, or rather hoping that he does, because he could have gone for Sword Dance. So he's gonna switch and I go for Knockoff to pretty much get rid of whatever comes in, the item of whatever comes in. Here he does a great play. As I switch into Arcanine, he brings in Scizor. And I have no choice but... No, as I bring in Chansey, I think I'm going to bring Chansey first. Yeah, I bring Chansey first, and he goes into Scizor. And I have to leave. I have to get Arcanine in and pretty much take a Sucker Punch. And hope Sableye takes a +1. Because it's my one response to this point. Go for extreme speed, pretty much just to do some damage to this thing. And yeah, the obvious bullet punch and Arcanine is done. So I bring in Mega Sableye and just don't even think about it and go for foul play, thinking maybe this will do some damage to this thing or take it down. And it gets it on the red. Not enough for it to go down. So I have to go to the Gastrodon, if only because it will take less damage from a bullet punch. And as you can see, yeah, this Gastrodon is invested in special defense, not physical defense, as I maybe should have considered, but yeah, what are you gonna do about it right now? So he goes for bullet punch again, and I just go for Scald. Pretty much, hopefully, maybe trying to just giving away this Pokemon. And in here, he pretty much turns the game in his favor. He sends in Dragonite, and, well, yeah, this is where the game goes alright for me. I send in Cofagrigus just to see what he does, and he goes for the Dragon Dance. Yeah, here there isn't much I can do. He goes for Dragon Dance again, and I go for Will-O-Wisp, trying to burn. And of course it misses. He goes for Outrage, which pretty much decimates Cofagrigus. I can only deal Psychic at this point. And look at the damage. This is without multi-scale, mind you. Yeah. And what multi-scale does, if you're not familiar with the game, it halves any damage from any attack of the Pokemon, so long as the Pokemon is in full health. And there goes Cofagrigus. And this is pretty much where the game is done. He gets confused, and as I suspected, he has a Lumberry. Partly I'm glad that the miss didn't affect that much of the outcome, so I got into Galvantula, pretty much thinking, well, maybe I can do something with this. And I do go for Thunder. I was more so hoping to paralyze this thing. That's all it's obvious. I have the Sash, and Thunder goes through. And it's a critical hit, which Diogo later said, which Diogo actually mentioned me in the chat that chatting with him, he mentioned me that he survived at 1 HP. So he goes for the obvious extreme speed and gets rid of Gastrodon, and here I go for Chansey. Maybe thinking, well, this is the one thing I have that is maybe is gonna take a hit. And he goes for Outrage, and guess what? I beat hard with a critical hit. I lose any possible slight amount of hope that I had to 1 as well. Here it's just a matter of time. He just goes to Outrage and decimates both Galvantula and Sableye. So that's it. A 4-0 victory. For him, a 4-0 victory for Diogo. And I lose my second match of today.